Alright guys, so I haven't filmed anything in a good little minute, but here's a quick little update of some stuff that I've been doing. Just wanted to show you, I ended up putting the old engine and trans back at the car to just mock it up because I wanted to make sure that when I route this wiring and how I do it, it's all going to sit in the correct spot and look good. Alright, so we're sitting in, as you know, I've already started making, redoing these look really good, which, oh man, I love it. But now I want to run, the different ones for you got for the vehicle speed sensor, we got for the throttle body and everything. And so I want it to be able to just basically plug right up and all be like in such a spot to where it's not like pulling in a certain way and everything. And the best way to do that is obviously to have things in place. So that's why we're doing that, because if some things can be elongated, I can elongate them. If some things, oh, look at that, that's a little off. Well, dang it. That's also why, because it's just sitting there and this is in the way. I'm gonna have to lift it all up just to put that in place. But yeah, anyways, I want it to be so that it's nice and tidy when I go to plug everything up. And it's not too long of wires and anything like that. All right. Wires go under, got the new bracket. That's gonna sit just like that. It's gonna be a lot cleaner from this angle. You're not gonna see every bit of wires. But yeah, that looks way better. All right, so here we go. Redid the harness. So that's where it's gonna be sitting. We're running it through, still finishing up. So now it's gonna basically zip tie up against the block like that. We got this area is done, all this is done, shorten this up. So these will plug up there. But next, now is the fuel injectors. Also managed to make a little weird bracket for that, as you can see. And it's gonna sit there, and then when I get this, when I finally figure out how to weld, this is gonna sit there. And so, yeah, man, it's gonna look pretty cool. All right, it is here, y'all. Freshly cleaned up. Got a decked surface, and it's time. We can now start assembling the block. It's been waiting for so long, so long for this, to get the car back up. But finally, we could get old Betsy back together. Got it with the broken motor still in there, but we're gonna go ahead and get this thing put together. We got some nice pistons, we got forged pistons that we're going with this time. So yeah, the car should be better. We shouldn't have any problems like that. So let's get it on the engine stand and then go ahead and start with prepping it. We are on the stand, covered up. Reason why I did this, I needed to blow out. There was a lot of rust in between there, so I was blowing it out and vacuuming it. Obviously didn't film that. But yep, now it's gonna go over there and just chill in that corner until we get the rest of the stuff. I gotta get an oil pump. I gotta get a water pump. Still gotta do stuff with the transmission. Obviously all the timing chains and all those kind of things. But I gotta get a head gasket. I gotta get a bunch of stuff. But now that the motor's back, I think it's gonna give me motivation to actually do more stuff with this to finish, because I started changing all the wiring. And obviously you see we've changed a bunch of it. Looks cool. It's gonna run underneath instead of coming down. And then I do want to go ahead and paint the engine bay when I take this motor out. So I got a lot of stuff to do, and a lot, because I'm changing the things around. But I mean, for the most part, everything else is just gonna go back up how it was. But yeah, that's really it. So hopefully we'll be back in maybe 3-4 months, somewhere around there, because I'm not going to rush this. I'm going to take my time, because like I said, I want to get the painting done, and then I changed a whole bunch of stuff. So I want to make sure it's A1 when it comes back. Looks pretty clean, decently show car quality, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to be okay going out and driving it a little bit. So All right, y'all. So upon getting everything ready to start switching out and filming the transmission part, I noticed something with the engine once I got it off the hoist. I took off the engine mount, and here we are. Here's for the bolts and everything. And as you see, then I was gonna go ahead and transfer it over to this one. And hold up, let me get you a good flashlight. Then I notice, wait a second, there are no holes. So I guess the difference between this is the Mark IV VR6 and the Mark III is, yeah, there's no mounts up there. So that got me a little frustrated, obviously, because now I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. I'm thinking maybe I could just sand down the area and figure out get somebody to weld in some like little not dowels, but you know, little threads or whatever, so maybe we could put the mounts up there, and hopefully that'll be good, because I don't know the symmetry like from that on the Mark IV. It goes into the block, and like when you look on the inside of the block, let me show you this. Okay, so when we look in the block, you could see the indents right there, like the indent right there in the corner, and then we have indents further down in right there. Those are all the mount spots. So this thing, it doesn't have that, so it's not even like I could really tap into the block, or else something serious would happen. So I'm just hoping that if we weld up something on the outside, you know, hopefully it's not going to shift the motor over too much. I don't know, so we'll see. We're gonna try something. All right, guys, so here we are, finally in the process of actually getting the car back up. Here she is, not, you know, everything out of it. And some of the reason why I just want to share with you why it took so long to get to this point is that, one, obviously it costs, but I didn't want to rebuild stock. So when I blew it up earlier this year, back in, I think it was February or March, I was like, man, I could go to the junkyard, risk a stock block, and I know people that's making 600 horsepower on a complete stock, unopened engine at all. But I was like, man, if I do that, then I'm down $500 something if it blows up. Whereas I could just put that towards like rods, pistons, and all that, and just have a little more comfort that it wouldn't break. So I did that, was building, getting everything situated. Finally, I dropped off the block, and here is the original block for the car. Now, this block, when I first went to dropped it at the shop, they were saying what it had was shadowing. So if you know anything about shadowing, if you ever built motors, is that because it had rust, and basically even after boring and honing the cylinder walls, it was too much rust to where if you got high, you know, boost, it's gonna actually, you know, mess things up, and yeah, you're gonna lose the motor. So they couldn't do that with this motor, and they're like, hey, we advise you do sleeves. We could put sleeves in. I didn't want to pay it, so didn't want to pay that price for sleeving. Went ahead, found a block real quick. Picked it up, a guy got me a block for like $150, bare block, nothing in. So I got excited, went, dropped it to the shop, got it bored out and everything, and then I found the problem after painting it and getting it all ready. The Mark IV's mount sideways. They have the two mounts on the side, and they have the one dog bone. On the Mark IIIs, they don't have that. They have a bar that goes in the front and everything, so you can't even mount. So when I got that back, I was so devastated, because I was like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. I spent all this money, and sure enough, ended up doing the wrong thing, because, like I said, Mark IVs don't set up like that. Now, there's people saying, and I could have done too, is like find out how to make them out, you know, weld something else on the car. I didn't want to get into all that. I just wanted to do the original. So I went ahead, had the machine shop finish that block with the two sleeves that they had to have put in it, and here it is back. But this has been like months of a process, and obviously we're just trying to sell that block over there, but no luck yet. But one of these days someone's gonna pick it up. So this, we're gonna start getting prepped. We're gonna obviously see it's a little rusty, so we're gonna go ahead and, you know, paint it as that block is nice and freshly painted and get it ready, so then we can start doing the timing and all that, and then get her back in the car. All right, guys, this is a super exciting part. Finally got the pistons and rods assembled. Got everything situated to where, I mean, now all I have to do is go ahead and gap the rings and then get them assembled, and then the rest of it is cake. The rest of the motor is going to go together super easy, really quick. Have all the bearings and everything. But yeah, once we get these rings situated, get the rings gapped to put on here, get them in place, we'll go ahead and start dropping it in the block, as you see. And then, like I said, rest is easy. All the timing, all the everything, all that stuff is simple. Only thing is, when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, there's always issues, there's always something that pops up. So we're gonna see. We're just gonna hope that it's not the rotating assembly. It could be gaskets, you know, we don't want that, but you know, there's always like oil leaks, coolant leaks, that always happens in putting stuff back together. Nevertheless, this stuff should go really smooth and really easy from here on out. So hey, let's get it. This is just with 3 rods in, which is 6, 4, and 2. Well, pistons and rods, that is. And here we are. Yes, sir. Got it situated. All up in there. Everything's good to go. So yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and put the cylinder head on the block, because we got the gasket sitting in place, lightly copper sprayed. Don't have to do it because it's a MLS gasket, which means multi-layer sheet metal, or however you say it. But everything else, everything went pretty smooth. Paint is good. The gears are in place. I will obviously tighten that up later on, but I want to get the head on and just do the rest of the timing. In the ports, it's good. Everything's well. We will have to, I got the other oil pan. It is actually, what to do? We got a hole in it, so we're going to have to weld a little area in one of those. And after we weld, then we'll be able to go ahead and put it on. And I'm going to do something different this time. So I've seen some guy do it online where on one of the timing chain covers, he put his return line on there for the turbo. So I think I'm going to try that this time. I'm going to see. The difference is he had a rotated setup turbo. He had a Sidewinder turbo. So with that, I mean, it was a little closer. But I'm going to just check it out once I put the cylinder head on to kind of just see if it's anywhere near, because if it is, I definitely want to go ahead and put the hole up there so they could drain from up top into the timing chamber area instead of tapping the block, because that's how it was last time. It wasn't that it was an issue. It worked just fine, but I just didn't want to do that. And then at the bottom of at the top of the oil pan, you know, sometimes it could be, you know, it could back up. A lot of people like it. They think it's fine. Factory does it on the 1.8Ts for the Volkswagens. A lot of people obviously in history have done it. It's not a big deal. However, I just didn't want, just in case, like anything, you know, backing up or whatever. So I'm just going to try something different. We already know it's going to flow out really good if we set it up high. So we'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this on. All right, so last night I said that I think that what I'm going to go ahead and do is put the timing covers on and then be able to run the oil return over here. Being that it's not top mount and big sidewinder, there's no way to do that, because as you see, it's a little bit lower. So not going to go ahead and do that. What I'm going to have to just do is I'm going to tap the block again. I don't want to do the oil pan, like I said, because of the simple issues of properly draining and whatnot. And as well, because the car is all-wheel drive, the bevel box sticks out a little further in the axles, and I don't want to get into that kind of issue. So this is the most flat looking spot. I'm going to just put it here. I think last time it was like somewhere in the, I don't know why, when it was done. I didn't do it, but when it was done, it was put on the beveled part right here of the block. So we're going to put it in the flat spot, and then should be able to seal up good. But as you see, we're chugging away. So once this is done, this is the easy part for me. Once this is knocked out, timing and all that, then I'm gonna have to jump on the transmission, and then I'll have to jump on the real hard stuff, which is like figuring out how to weld, because TIG aluminum, that's what I gotta do, because I'm gonna do a bunch of the fittings, which I've said before. I'm gonna make the AC lines in AN, so then everything will be super easy. So we'll see. As well as I'm gonna do what I can for the coolant in the AN as well. So but yeah, just a couple more things and we should have this thing back up. But probably be a couple months though. It's not that much, but it is a lot. All right, we got the spot. It is in there. It's ready to go. I'll torque it down later. Just put a little Permatex to keep it good. And now we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna start working on getting the nuts in and the washers and getting it torqued down. So let's do it. Here's a time lapse for you. What up, guys? So I just went and picked up my piece. So I was doing a coolant bottle, basically a whole different reservoir that basically sits on the side of the block right here. So let me show you. Let me show you what I was doing. All right, now don't laugh at me. You know, don't laugh at my work. But I was trying to learn how to TIG weld. I learned I had a piece of metal I learned to bead on, and actually got the bead. And then I started with this here, and yeah, as you see, it is just garbage, right? Absolutely trash. So I bring this fine piece of artwork up to one of my guys, locally, who's done work way back in the past. And I was like, hey, man, do you think that, you could go ahead and weld the final piece and, fix the bracket? And also I had him do over here my AC lines, do some AN fittings, right? Because I didn't want to mess that up. It's thin aluminum. I wanted it right the first time, so we're doing something special with it. He's like, yeah, man, I can do it for you. So I bring it up there, and he looks at the bottle, and then he's like, you want me to do another one for you? And I was like, all right, well, I guess. So like, sure. He's like, I won't charge you nothing crazy. So sure enough, he goes ahead and does it. And I finally come back and I pick it up today. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation before where you've been flexed on and you feel some kind of way. So look what he did, man. Look at this crispy piece of artwork. Not only does the artwork look just so amazing, what he did, he put it in a bag. Okay? Put it in the plastic bag, sealed up and everything to perfection. Now I'm like, if that ain't a flex, what is, man? He just said, you are the trashiest of the trash to ever exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I'm taking. He didn't say anything like that. He actually encouraged me. He actually said, man, you just gotta practice a lot, keep going, and then you could weld. But man, my work, you know what I'm saying? My work compared, like, look at these welds. Look at that. We're gonna open this up too. Let's open this up. Let's go ahead and open that up. We gotta get it powder coated too. Open the thing. Oh, like, look at that. Look at that. I mean, welded on the inside, Same thing here. Welded on the inside. Golly, what a flex. Jeez, boy. But at least when this goes in place, that's going to look a lot better, than what I was working with. So we're going to go ahead and put that on. And what we want to do is, I want to get this thing powder coated as well, just the same as the I can't even say it. For fluorescent yellow, as the turbo is. Got to get this redone because it was hitting up at the top and I want it to look right. So We'll get it redone eventually. But yeah, we're gonna have that as the same color, just so that, you know, the fuel rail, the bottle, and this is all gonna look just right. So yeah, let's get it on. Let's get it on. I mean, look at it. That's fire. So most people that do this do not have, you know, this secondary coolant pump. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a fitting under here, straight from under, and it's gonna go through, and this one's back to the heater core. I'll show you that out in a second. But look at that, man. Gotta put the nipple in, so, you know, go ahead and place that there. Shoot. And then the final piece. Oh, open up. Check it out. Check that out. That's fire. Look at this thing. Let's see how she fits. Yes, sir. That's gonna look right. And then imagine with the fluorescent yellow, just a couple of accents. I think she's on point. I like it. I really like it. And I went ahead too and ceramic coated these manifold and turbo manifold. And, so yeah, looking good.